Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with Supersize Business. Let's talk about sustainable architectural or the architecture industry, trending strategies that you could use to supersize and grow your business. I like to talk about specific industries and examples of how they are implementing sustainability, virtual reality, new technology, artificial intelligence, everyday processes and procedures and practices, and best manufacturing practices, best business practices to supersize and grow their business. So today we're going to dive in a little bit to sustainable architecture. What is it? Why is it important? And why would you care? And how might you use some of the things that they've learned in their industry and apply them to your industry to help you get the same benefits that they are by creating a sustainable long-term perspective on their business, their customers, etc. Well, first off, what the heck is sustainable architecture? It's a holistic design approach that includes 4 factors: environmental impact of the project, building materials, construction practices, and energy consumption. Those are the 4 main categories when it comes to looking at sustainability in the architectural industry. Well, there's other things I found really interesting as I've been learning more about sustainability in a specific industry. They have their own terminology and ways of looking at things. And some of the things I found really interesting were upcycled materials. The materials are a big part of sustainability, choosing the right materials for all of these factors: environmental impact, energy consumption, fitness for use, etc., long-term viability. And one of the things that they consider is using recycled, meaning taking materials that have been used before and recycling them and repurposing them in the construction project. And another one is called upcycling. And this was one I guess I've seen, but I haven't really paid much attention to on a conscious level. And that's when you take trash, really literally trash or garbage or things that have been used before, and you actually create brand new upgraded products out of them. And that increases the useful life of those raw materials in the first place, those materials. So if we take one of my biggest examples of this is, well, recycled paper, but also composite decking. We just put a deck on our home last year, and it's made all of this composite material, which comes from recycled materials, which I think is a terrific and fascinating upscaling and upgrading use of what was originally trash. We see that in a lot of applications nowadays. And if you can do that, if you can turn trash into treasures, that is usually a gold mine of a business model that you can easily supersize for all the reasons I'm going to share today. Number one, it helps you to enhance your brand. People are looking for businesses that are conscientious and want to make the world a better place. The rise of green buildings is another trend that's happening in the architectural industry and designing to improve indoor air quality, to reduce energy consumption and be more energy efficient, to actually conserve water and find ways of capturing water. We talked, I don't know if it was a week ago, about some buildings around the country and around the world that are already starting to do this. They've got plants on the surface of the building. They've got green roofs. They've got different ways to make the world a better place and save the planet as part of the projects and the facilities or the projects that they're building. They find ways and they get cost-saving benefits by finding ways to enhance the brand strategy by finding ways to build green into their facilities, into the buildings. Smart building systems are becoming more and more popular as technology advances. Buildings can actually run themselves. They will balance energy consumption. They'll save energy, store it in batteries and renewable type collection systems so that they can use it at peak times to conserve energy and to kind of exponentially smoothing, I call it, to flatten out the line in terms of what is required from outside sources of energy. They use things as simple and easy as automatic lighting. God, they had that back when I was still in corporate America. You'd walk in the room and the light would come on. And then you walk out, and after a certain number of seconds, the lights would go out because there was no movement in that room, which is really interesting. I had my desk in the wrong place once in an office, and I'd be sitting there, and if I sat too still, the lights would go out. So I'd have to wave my arms to get the light back on in my office, which was fine when I was by myself, but it was a little embarrassing if I was having a meeting and we were all sitting too still. Another thing I thought was interesting, and there's a name for it that I didn't know there was a name for, biophilic design. And that is the design philosophy that human beings need to interact with nature. So let's build nature into our projects, into our architecture, and into our environments. I understand this for apartment living and living situations, but I also think it can be very valuable for our businesses to incorporate some of these things. Biophilic design does things like natural lighting. It plays on natural light. It brings plants indoors and has indoor plants. It has natural materials and uses materials that we'd find in nature for decorating and designing facilities that are more human nature interactive. I think this in big cities is really, really important, where you can't get your feet on the ground hardly ever because there's so much cement and so few parks and so many people. Can you tell I'm a small town girl? Okay. So incorporating green spaces, parks, gardens, designing those things in, having green corridors in our not just building plans, but in community planning, right? To make the world a better place by conserving and having more energy efficient designs. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind are becoming more and more popular. Geothermal is becoming more popular. And these technologies can be used to not only help in agricultural, architectural businesses, but in all of our businesses, right? People love it. And I love it when we can make the world a better place doing what we're already doing. We talked previously about different certifications for green technology. Sorry, I'm using my air quotes, but in my world, this has just always been a part of our thinking. So it's a little bit challenging to pull it out and say, okay, well, why are we really doing this? Because I grew up in the world where we were always trying to make the world a better place. We were always trying to be more efficient, more effective, more conservative, reduce costs, serve people better. And so I actually have to think hard about some of these things when they come up. But as far as certification goes, I have my own philosophy on it. I have participated in and led a lot of certification initiatives and have found that they're an incredibly powerful benchmark for how we should set our businesses up and how we should behave and how we can make the world a better place. Whether you actually need to achieve the and go through the certification process is another story. All of us can use the criteria and make our businesses better, but it doesn't mean we necessarily have to go to the expense and effort and work of being certified. It does help from a marketing perspective, but you have to do what's right for your business in every situation. But following the frameworks that are set up for those certifications is always a good idea. That is just my 2 cents worth on certifications. Our intent and our behavior and how we show up in the world is more important than a seal of approval from an outside agency. That's, again, my opinion. And then, of course, the whole topic of sustainability is all about environmental impact and ecological, not only ecological, but also economic impact. Are we doing things that are making the world a better place and not only helping humanity, but allowing us to be profitable and sustainable for the long term? Those are questions that we all need to ask ourselves pretty much every day. Love to know if you are doing and practicing sustainability in your business. Share the one thing, the one lesson learned that you've had that has helped you the most in these efforts in the comments below so we can learn from one another. That's all I've got today. Have an awesome day. Any questions, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.